Happy day, happy day, happy day to my Facebook family and wherever this video goes. When you come on, you all, I'm turning around my earrings, of course, because why? Because I make them myself. So yeah, I want y'all to make sure y'all see that. Anyway, happy day. Make sure that you share this video, like and share right away as soon as you come into the room. Like and share, like and share. I am on a mission. I'm on a mission this morning to not only handle my business, and I mean handle my business, but I'm also on a mission to get my sisters and brothers and my family into the same mindset. If you're not already there, some of us are already there. I already know that, and I'm so thankful. Thank God we're getting it. But some of us are not there yet, and we're still working that 9 to 5 or 12 to 8 or 12 to 12 or whatever it is that we have to do to make a living. I don't know if you looked at the title or not, but the title for this video is Fool's Gold. Fool's Gold. And the reason I'm saying that is I don't know if you know, or if any of you know or have an idea what Fool's Gold is. I'm sure a lot of you do. But if you don't know what Fool's Gold is, Fool's Gold is a mineral that's actually called pyrite, I believe it is, that looks just like gold, or looks very, very, very similar to gold, and it feels like gold. So to someone who doesn't know any better, the pyrite, they would think the pyrite was gold. That's why it's called Fool's Gold. F-O-O-L, Fool's Gold. For the black community, the job, the J-O-B, has been our fool's gold. We live in a capitalistic society. The U.S. is a capitalist society, which means that they capitalize, or someone in power capitalizes on or benefits from the work or the labor or the produce of someone else. In our country, this society is a capitalistic society. It's built on capitalism. It means somebody is capitalizing, and the black community has not been the one capitalizing. The black community, since slavery, at least, let's talk about that, in this country, the black community has been the entity that has been capitalized on, right? The black community has been the labor force. This is the part that I need us to understand. The fool's gold that we have, the pyrite that we've been holding in our hands and holding up to in our lives, in our psyche, in our emotions, has been a job. Because what we were taught, this is why it's fool's gold, because it's a lie. What we believe, just like pyrite, we think that this thing that is worthy, that is full of worth, that is full of value, is going to bring us what we want. Just like if you had gold, if you were to walk up on a trunk full of gold, you would say, oh my God, I'm set for life. This is going to give me the wealth, the financial wealth, definitely, that I'm longing for and I desire. And of course, it will bring along other kinds of wealth, this big trunk of gold. But what if you wake up and you find out that this big trunk of gold was pyrite? It was fool's gold. Then what you have to know at that time is that big trunk of gold or fool's gold is not going to bring you anything. It isn't going to bring you shit, nothing, because it's not worth anything. Pyrite is useless. It's almost or no worth at all whatsoever. And I'm saying that for the black community, we have been, what's been held up in front of us because we are the labor, the workforce, is that fool's gold, thinking that if I get my hand on the best J-O-B, if I get my hand on the best J-O-B, if I get lined up for the best job, then I am going to have what I need to live the life that I want to live. And I'm saying to you, that is fool's gold. Your J-O-B keeps you in the labor force, which keeps us on the bottom rung of this capitalistic system. So the only way that African Americans or black people in the U.S. are going to accomplish some of those things that they want to really build wealth, And when I say build wealth, I mean not only that you can have some of the things you want, but I mean long-term for your family, long-term for your legacy. The only way you're going to do that is the same way they did it. That's ownership. Ownership and investments and real estate. Ownership, investments, and real estate. As a part of the labor force, workforce, because that's what we've been, but that's what we were told we needed to have in order to get what we wanted. So we ran and trying to get the best jobs. A lot of us went to college and got in debt trying to get the best jobs, not realizing or seeing through the bullshit, realizing that the carrot is steadily moving, because what it was created and designed to do is to keep us in this perpetual motion of trying to get by working our job, because that's what keeps the capitalists in position. That's what keeps those who have created the circumstances here in the U.S., that's what keeps them in power. They're kept in power because of our labor, because of our work. We're not going to, y'all share the video, like and share the video, like and share the video. If you like the video and then share it, gives it more steam in the Facebook's algorithm, which of course would give the message out to more people. The only way that we're going to accomplish what we want to do is we need to understand that we cannot do it with a job. I mean, like I said the other day, you can accomplish some of the stuff that you want to accomplish if you get a really, really good job, or what we call a really good job is a job that pays what we consider a lot of money. But you have to know that I don't care if you land a job, any of us, if you land a job making $650,000 a year and what you used to is $30,000 a year, for instance. If you land a job today for $650,000 a year, you got to know this: you are still a part of the labor force, which means that it's only your job as long as they give it to you. And if they decide to knock you out of it, they can do that. If they decide to take it from you, they can do that. So they're still in control, and you're still subordinate and at their whim. The only way that we can really gain power as the black communities, we have got to understand that we need to come out of the labor force. I didn't want to say that. I've been trying to hold it because everybody don't want to leave their job. But the truth of the matter is, you are not going to accomplish what you want to real freedom, unless you have the kind of freedom that the establishment has. And the kind of freedom they have, they did not build as laborers. They built it owning laborers, really. Because if you work in that job, you're going to do what the fuck they tell you to do. And if you don't do it, they're going to tell you to leave. But when you own your own shit, then you come and go as you please. You produce what you need to. And the responsibility as well as what you produce is yours. It doesn't belong to anybody else. We are not going to amass wealth as a people, real wealth. We're not going to amass wealth working jobs for other people. First of all, you don't own your life. They own it. That's why it doesn't matter how sick you are. This is when you know you're in real trouble. And we've been here as long as we can remember. Any of us can remember. This is where we've been. If you don't go to work, you got to start calculating. If I don't go to work today, I'm gonna have to deal with my supervisor. Or if I don't go to work today, I'm not gonna have enough money to pay the car note and the house note. No, I gotta go. We're in such emotion that we can't even afford to be sick. Can't even afford to take a day off work. You gotta sit and think, can I take a day off work because of what are the repercussions going to be if I decide to do that? What are the financial repercussions going to be? What kind of bullying? Because that's really what it boils down to. What kind of bullying will I become susceptible to if I take another day off work? We are not going to amass the kind of wealth or the kind of power that we need as long as we are working jobs and stay in this labor force for another people group to take advantage of us. I know some of you are probably saying, well, I can't just quit my job. No, you can't. You probably can't just quit your job, because more than likely, if you're anything like the rest of us, more than likely you got a car note that's more than that you can't afford, really. way more than you can afford. You're probably in a house that with the mortgage way more than you can really afford, because that is the way it's designed for you to want what you can't afford, and therefore you got to stay on this job working for somebody else, being susceptible to somebody else, being subordinate to somebody else, so that you can keep stuff that's not serving you. You don't have to be in the finest house because you don't need to impress anybody. You don't have to be in the finest car because you don't need to impress anybody. What you need to do is you need to have a game plan. The problem with black people for a long time is, and all of this is part of design. We don't plan for tomorrow. We live for today for the most part. We live for today. We want to enjoy what's going on today. And I think a lot of that probably comes for some of us, because all of us are not descendants of slaves. That's for sure. But a lot of us are. But all of us are not. Some of us are, though. The majority of us are in the U.S., blacks in the U.S. And I think that we got to have it because we feel like we got to have it because we have not had it. We have not seen it. So we figure I'm going to do whatever I can to get it, which keeps us again in that labor force as laborers, which is the fool's goal, because your job is not going to get you what you want. It's not going to get you the freedom. It's not going to get you the finances you want, because you are subordinate to someone else. Share the video, y'all. Thank you for coming in. I see Jackie Riggs. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Beatrice Croft. Thank you. Rosalind. Thank you. Good happy day to you. Brandon Jackson. Hey cousin, happy day to you. Sashat, I hope I'm saying it correctly. Happy day to you. I'm talking about fool's gold, and how fool's gold, I'm sure y'all have heard the term. If you don't know, fool's gold it's what they call pyrite. It's something that looks like gold, it feels like gold, but it's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. And just like fool's gold, if you were to run up on a pot of gold, you would think to yourself, OMG, I am rich. This is going to help me live the lifestyle that I want to live. And if you ran up on a tank of a pot of gold, that would be the case. But what black people have to understand is we ran up on a pot of fool's gold. When they told us that if you get a job, the better job you get, then you are going to, that job, which is your pyrite, is going to give you what you need. It's going to it's going to give you the resources you need for the wealth that you want. It is not the case. It is not the case. The only way to amass the kind of wealth that we've seen white people living in and amassing for generations and eons is for us to get together, for one, and for us to have ownership in real estate, investments, and business ownerships. We have to run our own business. We have to go back to running our own businesses. That is the only way. Now, as a consultant, that's a little different. Let me tell you what a consultant is if you don't know. A consultant is someone who has a service, and that service you may contract with a white company. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You may contract with a white person, but with a white company. But here's the issue as a consultant who owns their own business. You are bringing a service. They don't own you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It's almost like I used to be a substitute teacher for a while before I became a real teacher. And it's the same way when you own your own business and you consult with white firms or white companies. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But consulting is a lot different than working for a white firm or white company. That is a lot different. But it's almost like subbing. As a substitute teacher, I would go into the rooms, and the kids, of course, wherever you go, you're going to have some badass kids. Some of these kids would be horrible, and they would say some stuff to me, and the things that I returned, they didn't expect me to return. And they would say, you can't say that you're a teacher, or you can't tell you're a teacher. And I say to them, I'm a substitute. What you talking about? They put me out of this building today. I'm going to another one tomorrow. That is how it is when you are a consultant and you own your own business, right? That's how it is when you own your own business. They don't tell you when to come in. You tell them, as a consultant of your own business, I will be available. I am blocking out this amount of time for you to service you. I am bringing this to your company, and I'll be here from 8 to 10 a.m. or 8 to 10 p.m. It's not like you don't tell your boss that, because that anytime you work in a job, a job for somebody else, that's your boss and your owner. They have complete control over you. That is the fool's goal. Y'all like and share this video. The more we like and share the videos, the more we get our information out there. The more our community understands what's going on, the faster that we can come together and make some movement in our community to better our community. I'm not talking about yapping. I'm talking about really, really making some moves in our community that so that we can move from striving to thriving. The black community has been striving forever. We just striving in perpetual motion towards something that is constantly moving. The more you grab, the more they move. The more you grab, the more they move, because you're playing the game using their rules. Get out of the game. Some of us are going to have to, and I know some of you, especially women, will say, I haven't heard it verbally, but I know some of you are thinking, and I don't blame you, I would do the same. That's easy for you to say, Vicky, because you have a husband and y'all work together. Let me say this to you. I didn't always have a husband, and I was doing my own thing. Now I wasn't fully sustainable at the time, because that was before college. But even before college, I always had a little hustle, a little business, because I understood that I need something that I can control. Do you understand? When you working that job, that fool's goal, you ain't controlling nothing. It's all about controlling you and capitalizing on you. We have to move. Black folks have to come together and help each other move away from the labor force. We no longer need to be the labor force. We no longer need to be the workforce. We spend our time complaining, talking about we need equal rights at our jobs, and they don't treat us right at your job. Right, get out of it. They don't treat you right because they own it. They do what they want to do. It's theirs. Get out and make your own. So how can you, so if somebody says, some woman or man, it doesn't matter, might say, well, how can I do this though? How can I? Y'all might have to get together. First of all, start talking to your family. That's a more okie doke we've been taught. We've been taught that to get away to, it's man, we in a trick bag all over the place. It's like we think it's a bad thing to come with your family and be dependent on your family, and depend on each other. Now, I don't mean being dependent on your family and being available for your family is different than being a leech. That ain't what I'm talking about. The 30-year-old boy that's living in the basement talking about, mama, when you done cooking yet? That's something totally different. That's something that you need to cut out like a cancer. I ain't talking about that. But I am saying that we can lean on each other. Some of y'all need to move back home. I don't mean move back home and be a leech. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we need to pool our resources. If that means getting in a big house together, that's something that we can consider. We've been so divided. Everybody trying to prove themselves off on their own. Every child running out. I'm going over here. I got my own house. I got my own car. You got your own. And none of y'all, nobody is really moving. Nobody's making any major moves because everybody trying to do it by themselves. Other cultures have figured that out. Some of y'all laugh at them. The other cultures in our communities, that it may be 15 of them in one house. But that same house with them 15 folk, they buying real estates. Buying pieces of real estate and building them up, fixing them up, and renting them out. Renting to their own people. The same people. Some of those same ideas we need to think about. Stop trying to do everything on your own. You can't do it on your own. Get with your family, people you love, people you know, people you can already trust, and plan. Say, okay, we have to come together. What are we going to do so that we can become self-sufficient as a unit, as opposed to everybody running, working their jobs. Everybody got to go to the white man and work for the white man, and because you're doing that, you can't even love on each other. Half the time you can't stand each other because you wore out, tired, stressed out. So the minute somebody says something to you, you ready to fight in your own house because you stressed. You stress. It's called PTSD. Some of us are post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of it ain't post. You in it right now. Fool's gold. We have been given fool's gold. That job, even and I have. Let me repeat this before I say it. I have 2 degrees. I have 2 degrees and 2 grad certificates. So I believe in education. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I have understood and I realize now that, good morning, or happy day, everyone. I see Aisha is looking, and please like and share, y'all. That's what y'all help me by liking and sharing the video. 2 or 3 times a day. Don't just do it once and quick. And like and share. That helps us move in FB's algorithm. Meaning, if you like and share it, they'll continue to like and share it. But if nobody likes and shares it, it'll sit in one spot. We want our people in together. We want family to come in and start doing what we need them to do. And that is to build wealth together, to learn to build wealth together. We want to get rid of this whole idea of a job is what I need to do what I need to do. It's fool's gold. It's not real. It looks like gold. It feels like gold, but it's worthless. It's worthless. We can only amass the wealth we need if the same way they did it. Real estate investments, investments, stocks and bonds, that kind of thing, right? We need to do that. Owning their own business. I had a brain fire. And owning their own businesses. If we don't do that, there's no way in the world that we can amass what they've amassed. But we have to come together to do it because we started the game way late. Because we have only been, all we have been is the labor, the workforce, for everyone else to get where they need to be. For everyone else to be prosperous. We have to come out of the mindset of workforce. We can't be workforce anymore. We can't be labor anymore for everybody else. We looking and fighting and arguing for equality at the job, but you don't need the job. What you need is a business, a game plan with your family. You and your family need to come together and put together a game plan so that we can dupe this system that has duped us. When I mentioned college a minute ago, let me go back to that. College is fine. 2020, you get 2020 vision once you pass through something, right? Hindsight is 2020. What I know now as a graduate with 2 degrees and 2 grad certs, what I know now is the college education is not absolutely necessary not for the black community. Because what they teach you in college is how to serve in a job for somebody else. Unless you go into Princeton, Yale, or Harvard, just about everywhere else is preparing you for the workforce. Isn't that something? Everywhere else other than Yale, Princeton, and Harvard, pretty much, is preparing their students to go into the workforce so they can be what? Subservient to somebody else. Owned by somebody else. Controlled by somebody else. And them somebody else's that we're controlled by are those folk who went to Princeton, Harvard, and Yale. Because they're not teaching them to be workforce. They're teaching them to be owners. They're teaching them to be investors. They're teaching them to be creators. But we sell all our creativity to sit and work some kind of mundane job in somebody's factory and think we're doing something. Because that's all we know. That's all we know. It's fool's gold. It's not true. The job is never going to get you the kind of lifestyle that you want to have. The only thing